Lower Karazhan has returned to Mythic Plus in Shadowlands Season 4. I'm Dratnos, and in this video we'll go over how this dungeon works, and give you some tips and tricks to handle its iconic boss fights. The first boss of the dungeon can actually be one of 3 different bosses. It's Karazhan's famous opera, with shows rotating weekly. If you get the Beautiful Beast fight, you'll have 3 bosses to deal with at once at the start. It's a good idea to use Bloodlust and offensive cooldowns to help even the odds. Don't try to AoE them down because they fully heal whenever any of them die. The broom, Bablet, is a good target to kill first. Whoever's fixated should kite it to avoid getting a severe dusting. But be careful, because if you kite it through the fire, she gets a movement speed buff, which should be purged if possible. In hierarchies, Mrs. Cauldrons is potentially a better focus target, since she chain casts Soup Spray, which does quite a lot of damage. If you do get sprayed, you get a debuff that slows you, but makes it possible to clear the fire puddles by walking over them. Luminor, the candlestick, spawns the burning blazes, and also casts Heat Wave every 30 seconds, which needs to be interrupted. Once all 3 are dead, Coggleston joins the fight, and starts summoning Silver Forks. These put a nasty dot on the tank, and try to murder the rest of the party with flashing forks. Coggleston also hits the tank with Dent Armor, a 50% damage taken increase, which can be deadly in combination with multiple forks. Finally, look out for Coggleston's interruptible Dinner Bell cast, a 100% haste buff which can be purged or even spell stolen if you fail to interrupt it. If you get the Westfall story opera encounter, make sure to run away from Tony during Burning Leg Sweep, then get ready for the boss to dash to each player and create a Flame Gale. Once Tony gets to half health, he'll take a break, and Murgria will instead become active. Watch out for the bubble blasts that her Tide Speakers are casting. These enemies can and should be interrupted and stunned, since the bubbles are quite deadly. Be sure to spread and use defensives if you're low health when Murgria casts Thunder Ritual, and dodge the waves whenever she casts Wash Away. This can catch you by surprise if you're standing at the edge of the room where it spawns. Once Murgria reaches 50% health, Tony rejoins the fight. This is a good time for Bloodlust, as you'll be dealing with both of the boss's abilities until you kill one of them. Their healths are not linked, so focusing one down is a good idea to lower the danger. Lusting on Pull is a good idea if you're up against the Wikket opera encounter. Every 45 seconds, Galindra will cast Magic Magnificent. You'll need to run into the Defy Gravity zones on the ground, which Elfira creates over time to avoid this. If you accidentally use one early, either a tank or someone with defensives or an immunity will need to stay down and get hit by a Magic Magnificent cast. Use interrupts on Flashy Bolt as a priority, plus Dreary Bolt if you have extras. Throughout the fight, Winged Assistants will also jump in. These should be grouped up and killed. After the opera encounter, watch out for Ghostly Understudies. They cast Poetry Slam, which you'll either need to move away from or stun or interrupt. Move them out of their spotlights to lower their damage, and stand in the spotlight yourself to deal some extra damage. When these die, watch out for Final Curtain. This is also where, if you're doing a plus 10 or higher, you'll encounter the Shrouded mini-boss, Zul'Gamux. Make sure to CC the bats before they hypnotize their target, and burst through the shield she gains while casting Blood Siphon. A Timeless Legion pull is grabbing all of the Spectral Patrons at once. These mobs don't do anything except beat up your tank, so if you're feeling up to it, give it a try. Several dangerous Skeletal Ushers are up next. These cast Flashlight, which deals quite a bit of damage, and if you're looking at the Usher when the cast finishes, you'll get blinded and take extra damage, so turn away as the cast finishes. In hierarchies, even turning away is dangerous because the damage is still quite high, so you can instead fight the Ushers near pillars and line of sight the entire ability. In the Banquet Hall, there are a lot of different enemies and casts, but the most important ones are Spectral Attendant's Shadow Rejuvenation, an AoE heal, and Spectral Retainer's Oath of Fealty, a mind control. These both need to be stopped. Head down this side door to get to the Maiden of Virtue. Watch out for the Spectral Guardsman, whose Shield Smash frontal stuns anyone it hits. The Maiden of Virtue fight is all about correctly managing one core ability combo. Over time, the Maiden creates Sacred Ground, which gives you a nasty dot if you stand in it. Roughly every 50 seconds, she'll stun the whole party with Mass Repentance. This can be broken by damage, so pick up one stack of the Sacred Ground dot, or use an immunity or something clever like Blessing of Sacrifice before this cast finishes, but take care not to get multiple stacks. The boss then shields herself and begins to cast Holy Wrath, which can't be interrupted unless you break the shield. You'll also want to interrupt Holy Shocks and stay spread more than 6 yards from each other so that Holy Bolt doesn't chain. After killing Maiden, head to the Grand Ballroom. Once you've cleared this room entirely, you can pick up 2 Ghost Traps, which will help you against the next boss. Moroes is a very difficult boss that spawns with 4 allies from a pool of 6 potential ones. Note that which 4 are active will be the same for the whole week. You can use the Ghost Traps to CC some of them and focus them down one at a time. Once Moroes reaches 60% health, he'll break all the traps and make them immune to CC for the rest of the fight. The adds also cast faster if there are multiple of them stacked up, so be careful. Lord Crispin Ference casts Willbreaker, a massive line attack that does a ton of damage. Beware if there are multiple adds stacked together because it'll have a very quick cast. This is a great choice to kill first with the others CC'd, or save for last after the others are dead. Baroness Dorothea Millistipe needs to be interrupted on her mana drain cast. Lady Catriona von Indy will heal Moroes, while Lady Kira Berrybuck casts Empowered Arms, buffing Moroes. Baron Rafe Druger casts Iron Whirlwind, doing heavy AoE damage to nearby players. If you have some range DPS, they can kill Rafe, otherwise you can just keep fighting Moroes away from him and leave him alive for the whole fight. Finally, Lord Robin Darris throws Whirling Edges, which you just have to move out of. The problem is that while you're carefully managing his guests, Moroes is blasting your group with Garrotes. This dot lasts for a full minute. Moroes will just vanish from time to time and choose a player, preferring the healer, from among those with the least Garrote stacks as his next target. You can use effects like Stone Form or immunities against this to reduce the pain for you and your healer. After Moroes, head down to the stables. Spectral Chargers cast Charge, which has a purple telegraph that you should dodge, and also make sure to interrupt the Spectral Stable Hand's Healing Touch. Attunmen the Huntsman is the last boss you'll deal with if you follow this path, though it's worth noting that you can do the bosses after the Opera event in whichever order you choose. Do not pull this boss without clearing all of the trash in the area, as it will all pull when he gets in combat. The fight begins with Attunmen atop his horse, Midnight. Attunmen will apply Intangible Presence to the whole party, which is a nasty dot and is dispellable, but it's only removed from the entire party if you dispel the correct player. That player is the one with a ghostly presence around them, which you'll need to identify and then dispel. If you dispel anyone else, the whole party will take extra damage. During this phase, Midnight casts Mighty Stomp, which does heavy damage and interrupts anyone within 30 yards. Ranged players should just outrange this, while melee players may need to flee if they're on low health. At half health, Attunmen will dismount and you'll need to dodge Midnight's Misère cones. Note that these are always aimed at Attunmen. The tank needs to be careful of positioning here, as Attunmen will aim Mortal Strikes at them in a small frontal cone. The difficult part of this comes soon after the first Mortal Strike of the phase. Attunmen will cast Shared Suffering, which is an AoE around him that splits damage among all targets. This should be soaked by the entire group, or everyone can make sure to not be close to the boss and the tank can get away at the last second. After 25 seconds, Attunmen mounts up again, and you'll alternate between these two phases until he dies. In all mounted phases from here on out, you'll also have to deal with Spectral Charge, waves of ghost horses that should be dodged. That's the end of this video. We hope you've learned something that you can use in your next run of Lower Karazhan. Make sure to subscribe to this channel because we have more videos like this on the way. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in Azeroth.